Okay. Hey guys, welcome back. Ill-equipped, whatever name we're gonna call this show where it's just me. If you can't tell, there's a really big empty void right here on the right. If you can't see it on the camera, there's an empty void on my right. It is missing a 160-pound man named James Estrada, my usual co-host, and he's not here because he is getting ready to move with my twin brothers, so they're both gonna leave me behind, which is super fun. That's actually one of the reasons why we haven't recorded in a while together. He's getting his stuff together, getting ready for that move. And yeah, there's not much I can do other than just be helpful in that move, make it easier for them. It's cool. It's going to be fun for them. Kind of throws off the dynamic here, but that's okay. For as long... How do I put this? If anyone wants to be a guest on the show or help out with the show, any help would be appreciated. If you want to, just reach out to me. DM me on Instagram. However you could reach me. If you have my number, text me. That's fine. Until then, I'll be on here alone. Just ranting, talking about whatever I think about. Whatever's been on my mind lately. And yeah, what's new with me? Well, James is leaving my work, and a bunch of other people are also leaving my work, so that kind of leaves me alone in the dust, and that sucks, but I'm just happy for everyone because they're kind of moving on and just getting better jobs and moving on with their lives and just doing better things in general, and I'm just proud of them. So as long as I could help out, that's fine. But that also means that my work is hectic right now. I'm one of 3 managers, even though there should be 4. There's 1 associate when there should be 4 or 5. So that's a whole other ballpark of trying to figure out and coordinate. So I'm sorry if my uploads aren't as common or regular. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to figure it out. What else happened that's new? I'm still growing out my mullet. If you can see it on the video. It's there. Oh, there's another new thing. Coco, come here. Come here, Bubba. If you want to click on the link for the YouTube, you can see him. This is Coco. You want to say anything in the mic? Go ahead. Alright, that's all he has to say, apparently. I'm gonna hold him because he's freaking out right now. He's a little Malti-Poo. He has a little bit of a lazy eye. What else about him? He's 5 pounds, so he's really small. I hope he grows. If he doesn't, I will love him either way. He's now 9 weeks old, and I hate saying it like that, as if it's a baby, because it's a dog. But I love him either way. I love him enough to be like my baby, especially with how early I have to wake up to take care of his annoying ass. And other stuff like that. And I just really appreciate my family's help with taking care of him. We called him Mochi at first, but that changed over time because it doesn't suit him. And Coco is, I guess, 2. He's a white dog. Cocaine is white, if it's good. So yeah, Coco. That's our dog. My dog, whatever. Whatever anyone wants to call him. Yeah, he's freaking out right now, and I don't know why, but say hi to the camera. Look, that's you on the camera. Whatever. What else is new? New. Back to school on the 23rd, so that's also gonna throw off my schedule. So everything's just a nightmare. We might change the upload days to Mondays or some other day because Wednesdays are kind of hectic. Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see. I think that's all that's new with me. Work, school, dog, family, girlfriend, everything is still there. Just things are going crazy around me, and scheduling is a bit of a nightmare. So, yay. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear the fan in the background. It's a nightmare, but it's just super hot, and my audio probably sounds like ass, but you're gonna have to deal with it in the meantime because I don't want to have a stroke. Alright, dude, I'm gonna put Coco down. I'll be right back. Go ahead. Okay, he's just laying down on the floor now. What did I want want to talk about today. I was going to go into the news, but if you are a normal person, you know exactly what's happening in the Middle East, and I am not. Even though that's the kind of like the goal of the show, I'm nowhere near enough equipped or educated enough to speak on what's happening in the Middle East and Afghanistan and everything else in between. If you want, you can go read amazing articles. I think first things first would just understand the history of it before you like cast any like judgment on anyone and want to blame whatever sides. Like look into the history of it and then form an opinion. Don't just look at the news and just say, oh, look how horrible everything is. There's a lot more that we don't see behind closed doors, and from what I read, it's pretty sad, and I don't really know what to say about it. Honestly, I just hope everyone's safe. I hope everyone gets home safe. I really hope the current leadership over there, or the new leadership over there, doesn't take anything against the women and children in that country. I just hope everything's okay and ends up okay and things work out. But I'm just a kid in California. Whatever I say doesn't really change anything. So, yeah. If you're watching on video, I'm gonna move my camera real quick, my microphone on my face real quick. But if you can't tell, I have a little bit of a problem with like mental health right now. I've lost a substantial amount of weight, which is super unhealthy for me. Sleep schedule is complete ass. Eating is almost optional at this point, other than going, oh, I might pass out at work today. I should probably get a little burrito or some shit. And I think that's one thing, as much as everyone's changing for the better to do their best to understand and try and hear each other out and try and see each other's point of view. I think it's still one thing that's definitely missing in a lot of like households to talk about, to see how their children are affected, their siblings, their friends, their partners, whoever it is in your life, how they're affected by mental health. Me and James have talked about it in the past. Like, please, like, just, it's okay to get help and ask for help. And if you're a good friend, you check in on your friends. And I know I've been dropping the ball on that lately. And I don't have any excuses. Unfortunately, I dropped the ball on it, and I should be doing it more often, but I don't. And, what's up with me? So I actually have ADHD, adult ADHD, sorry. And that's something I've held back from openly saying and like admitting in a public platform, and it's not something that's like a bragging right or an excuse for anything. It's just me, you know, like I was born with it. My genetics and my brain were like, hey, this is it, deal with it. And it's something that I wish I knew earlier, and unfortunately there's no one really at wrong with it. It's just this idea of like, boys will be boys in a classroom. They will be moving around. They're always talking. They want to be the class clown. They want to joke around. They want everyone's attention. And everyone's like, oh, boys will be boys. But I don't think that was the case with me, unfortunately. I think for me, it was something I didn't have total control over. And yeah, there was an aspect of enjoying the attention, but I think there was also an aspect of like, I think I saw it most in high school and then early on in college, because when I was younger, it was just dismissed like, oh, he's just being a boy, he's messing around in class, he's a class clown, he won't sit still, he's forgetting his homework. And I was like, yeah, that's just him being a kid, whatever, like, he'll figure it out. But as I got older, I was like, something's not right. I shouldn't be acting like this still. I shouldn't be forgetting these important things, and I should be able to maintain a routine. And I just felt like I was missing that in my life, and I decided to go get checked actually very recently. And when I say recently, I would say around the end of 2020, if not the very beginning of 2021. And it was it was an experience. Yeah. For a while I thought I had it, but I just had to know for sure through like psychiatrists and like proper evaluation and stuff, and I finally got that done, and I do have, according to the psychiatrist, ADHD, adult ADHD. And if anyone's not aware of what ADHD is, it stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, and it's one of the most common illnesses in children as well as many adults. Also, I'm reading this from a page from psychiatry.org, so experiences vary obviously with everything in mental health, and a lot of places where we're not fully understanding of how things work. It's very generalized and it's a blanketing statement. The symptoms include inability, like the popular ones are not popular. The most common is like inability to focus, excess movement that isn't appropriate in a particular setting, and lastly, impulsivity. Unsurprisingly, well, no, there is no shock value, and it shouldn't be, like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's more common in boys than girls. But it's usually identified through like disruption in classrooms or problems with their schoolwork, and that's where people kind of get a hunch, like going, oh, something's not completely right. And unfortunately, a lot of boys go diagnosed because of this idea of like, oh, he's just being a boy, he's being rowdy, he's just doing whatever he feels like, and that just means it gets swept under the rug. And the unfortunate thing for like me in my case, it's a lot harder to diagnose the older you get, because by then you've already accepted that that's how you are, and you've just kind of been like, well, fuck it, I'll just struggle for a little bit, and I hope I'll figure it out by like, well, if you do it for 28 days straight, it'll be a habit, whatever, that kind of stuff. And for me, it just never worked out like that. It became a habit to forget homework, to forget like an appointment, to schedule things, to go out, forget to eat, lose my keys, my wallet, my phone constantly, and that's just part of it, unfortunately. Sorry, this is just like an awkward topic to me to like talk about openly, because close friends of mine know about it, but beyond that, no one else does. But now it's like free knowledge to everyone on the internet or who has access to a podcast. There's 3 kinds of ADHD. There's inattentive type, which is basically the way that they diagnose you is there's a list of symptoms, and you have to at least have 6 of them that majorly affect you, and it can be observed clearly. And when you're above the age of 17, that list shortens down to maybe like 5. And they shorten the list because you actually, as you get older, the hope is that you kind of break out of that routine and you hopefully age and grow into avoiding those kinds of problems. But if you can't, then you're kind of stuck with it, and then you have to actually be diagnosed in order to understand what's going on. And that goes for all 3 kinds. I'm not going to read the entire list because it's kind of exhausting and it's really excessive. But for inattentive type, it's like not paying attention to detail or making careless mistakes in work or school. You don't seem to listen when spoken to. You have a problem organizing tasks and work. And one that I greatly am affected by is often losing things needed for tasks or daily life, such as keys, wallet, phone, glasses, and paperwork, such as homework or just for your job. And that last one is me every goddamn day. It sucks. And it's an ongoing joke in my family that, do you know where your keys are? Do you know where your wallet is? And I guarantee you, 4 days out of the week, I will ask my family, hey, have you guys seen my wallet? Hey, have you seen my keys? And it's ridiculous at this point. At this point, I don't know how anyone puts up with me doing that kind of stuff, but it is what it is. And then there's hyperactive, also known as impulsive, which is fidgeting, feeling uneasy or squirming in a seat because you can't stay still. You're unable to stay seated, basically. And for some younger for younger people, they're just running or climbing where it's inappropriate, like in a hospital or a church or a store, stuff like that. But that's also one of the reasons why it's kind of tricky to diagnose. Are they just being a kid, or should they have outgrown that? Was that the parents not disciplining? It's a bunch of stuff. But if you've ever had the chance, the lovely opportunity to talk to me in real life, or in the store, or you've seen with me and James on the podcast, I blurt out answers. So, okay, before I go into me, the description is you blurt out answers or you finish other sentences without knowing the true completed question or sentence. And I do that constantly. It is something I struggle with. I cut people off without knowing even what the topic is about, because I have this urge to be like, well, I know this. How about this? It's not beneficial. For all I know, I could just be like speaking my way into like entrapment, basically giving myself up for something, and it's ridiculous. And I hate that I do it, but I'm super aware of the fact that I do it, and I still can't stop myself from doing it, if that makes sense, because it just kind of happens, and it's really frustrating. But another one that I have trouble with is like taking over what others are doing when a task takes too long. Again, if you ever worked with me or been around me and we're doing something and it's taking too long, I will literally try and do it. Even if I don't know how to do it, I will try and do it, because I don't have the patience to sit there and go, you got this. I don't have that in me, unfortunately. And it's irritating to everyone, even me. Like, I don't want to do that kind of stuff, but there's a part of me that's like, just move and finish it, and then we'll be done, and we could stop this. And it's a rooted problem in feeling impatient. Again, impulsive, hyperactive. Like, impulsive, like, I just snap decision, just let's go, let's get the ball going. Like, I don't want to sit here. Like, that's why I hate being late. That's why every day for work I can show up even up to like 20 minutes early, because I don't want to wait at home and go, oh, in 20 minutes I have to leave. I'll just leave now, and then I don't have to worry about it. I'm already there, whatever. And it's ridiculous. There's no reason for me to do that. Yeah, some of my friends are like, oh, that's really like, what's the word, punctual. You're on time. I don't care if I am. I just get stressed out knowing, oh, I could just go there already. I don't want to risk being late. And it's horrible. And the impulsive part, especially when I first started college, I was dating someone and I was making zero money. But part of my brain, you could just easily toss this up as like me being in a relationship and being like excited, but just spending my entire $16 check of working retail as a freshman in college was just straight down the drain. Just buying whatever. Because I never had a check up to that point. I'm just like, fuck yeah, watch what I can do, and I'll just buy anything. And I've gotten a lot better at that now, but up until maybe like a year and a half ago, I would just like buy expensive things on a whim and just go, look what I did. And then a week later, when I can't afford normal things like buying a lunch or emergency money for gas, I'm like, fuck, why did I buy all of this stuff? Like, none of it was necessary, and it was just really dumb, and I've done that constantly. So luckily, now I'm getting better at just like, maybe we take a step back, let's think it through and just kind of repace yourself. Finally, the third kind of ADHD is combined, I believe. Is that the name? Sorry, I'm literally looking it up right now, and this is really unprofessional, but I don't care because that's the show. The last one is called sorry, I can't read fast. Combined type. Yeah, combined type. Which is, unfortunately, my psychiatrist didn't clarify what I have, but I believe I have combined type. Because that's basically having a mix of either impulsive / hyperactive and inattentive type, and just going, I'm going to choose. Basically what happened was my brain was like, let's choose the worst ones out of the list that can mess you up in the most subtle and annoying ways. When I was actually talking to my psychiatrist, she said that there are some people with adult ADHD to the point where they can't drive because of how short their attention span is, or their like uneasiness of just sitting there and waiting for traffic. They can't do it. It's dangerous to them because they'll forget they're driving, they'll forget where they're going, and it can cause anxiety. And it's insane. Like, I never realized it could be that much of an effect on someone. I always imagine, like, when you imagine a kid with ADHD, they're just like that kid from the dog from Up being like, oh, squirrel, and then you just look away. Like, that's what, unfortunately, like, I thought it was, until having this conversation with my psychiatrist and going, oh shit, like, I just checked a lot of those boxes, like, damn. And it was a really hard thing to accept and actually go through. I have been to like a therapist for years, and she always suggests go to a psychiatrist, just find out, get a definitive answer if you can, or the closest thing you can to definitive. And I actually put it off for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years of putting it off. I had a referral and I just never went because is A, I didn't want to schedule it. B, I didn't care enough at the time. Or C, I forgot that I had the appointment. I was just like, well, fuck. I'll do it again. And then I would just forget to go back and do it again. And it sucked. It took almost failing my classes through virtual learning to be like, okay, something's not right. Everyone else is thriving. I'm sitting in front of my computer going, I wonder what would happen if I drew on my mirror right now with an Expo marker. There's no, like, there's been studies, multiple studies of being at home is the worst place you could be to study and try and learn new things because there's so many distractions around you. And that's given for anyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Statistically, more people will do better in a surrounding that they aren't familiar with or is devoted specifically to getting a task done, such as a library in a school, an office for work, that kind of stuff. Now, that doesn't mean like virtual learning doesn't work or that virtual like jobs won't work or benefit people. It does benefit people, but I'm saying as far as for me, I'm one of those people where if I study at my house, I'm going to be distracted by everything. I would literally walk out of class and go, I'm going to go get food and come back and know that there's no repercussions because guess what? My camera's off on Zoom. Another thing is I would just find things to tinker with. Like, my phone would constantly die during quarantine. There's no reason for it to die. We're not going out. I'm not on my phone. But just the fact that I had class, and whatever, like, I'm just going to zone out and just go on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, play Pokemon Go, even though I don't have a Pokestop near me, that kind of stuff. Like, just useless waste of time, and it's just exhausting and struggling, and I finally said that's enough. I need to go get help and find out what's going on. And it turned out great. I got diagnosed. Treating it varies from people. There's medication, there's practices you could do. For me, one of the ones that I do is I actually do my best if I can to write everything out, what I have to do that helps me. And even one thing that was hard to accept was just saying, hey, as long as you did one thing on the checklist today, that's progress. And I think you don't even have to have ADHD to understand that and like feel good about that. Things aren't always easy and shit can get rough, but being able to say, hey, I did at least one thing I was supposed to do today and did it to completion, that's a win. That's progress in any form. You're not going for gold. You're going to finish it and just be able to say, I did it. I'm done with that. Let's move on. You know? Sorry, I need a drink of water. God damn, it's hot. Ugh. This show is not sponsored by Liquid Death yet. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize for my room. It looks disgusting, and it's because this is the only free time I have to record, and I don't want to clean it up right now, because then I'll just get way too carried away with it. And that's not a cop out. I just genuinely, it's either it looks like this or I have to make it like perfectly clean, and I don't have the energy to do it. Let's see. Jesus Christ, I already forgot what I was going to talk about right now. I already forgot. Jesus. I'm blanking already. Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to cut this out. This is so awkward. Oh, okay, I got it. I remembered. Good. One aspect I didn't take into account with ADHD is how it affects you physically. I always imagined it's just a mental thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna forget this. I'm gonna put this off. And then through talking through my psychiatrist and my therapist, I realized like, oh, it's physically exhausting to be like this every day. And it's true. Like, if you're constantly stressed about getting something done, or there's so many thoughts in your head, that takes a toll on you because your body reacts a certain way. It's pumping out different chemicals. You're tensing up because you're stressed out, and it messes you up, man. It's not a fun experience, and I was lucky enough to not know about it until being diagnosed, or at least talking about what I was going through. And Jesus, like, it sucks. Like, now I know why I'm constantly tired. If you see me in person, I look exhausted. I look like ass. And I can't do anything about it. I'm just constantly thinking of something, and it's exhausting, and that's why I apologize that this is just becoming a ramble on a podcast. But the initial, actually one of the reasons why I started the podcast, this one is just for me, is just get my thoughts out of my head, just so I can speak it, and then I can move on from it. And I know that I have it on file, so I don't have to say it again. Yeah, it was actually one of the things that my therapist suggested to me. She said, record what you're thinking. Say it out loud, get it out of your head, and then you can at least know that you recorded it, and you said it, and it's done with. You can move past it for that time, and continue with what you have to do. And that changed my perspective a lot on things, and it really helped, and I appreciate that like outlook of just going, okay, this moment is fleeting, everything will pass. I'm sure everyone who's gone through something of mental health has heard that. Or even emotions, like, it'll pass, and that really helped me out. And I think a lot of people can take from that. Do what you want with that sentence. It's not up to me, whatever. But yeah. Well, not a very happy episode, but again, I appreciate God, I can't talk. It's been like 2 weeks. I appreciate you guys for listening. It means a lot if you're still around. I know there's not many compared to when we first started. I know James was a big part of why you guys were listening, so if you're still around, I really appreciate it. And I promise you, we will get back on a better schedule. We might even change the days that we publish so it's more in tune with what people want when people want to hear it. Because I know Wednesday, who the fuck is on their phone on a Wednesday in the morning at 7 a.m. But I want to hear this guy ramble for 30 minutes to an hour. No, it's not realistic. And from what I've like looked at the stats from our like audience and like from talking to people, for some people the podcast is just background noise, or it's something to put on while you're cleaning or you're driving, and it's just something to keep you somewhat engaged. So over the next couple episodes, I'm going to be trying different things. I'm hopefully going to get guests. Again, if you want to be a guest, just hit me up. I'll figure it out on how we could record that together. If you have any ideas, please send that an audio message or click on the website, and I will gladly reply to it. And if you want to like actually give an idea for the show, just let me know. If it's fun or it's interesting, it doesn't matter. I'll probably talk about it or at least address it. Until the next time, which I hope will be next week, GG's, and have a good one. Peace, dudes. Should I just stop doing this?